and Noble.
It's nice to be here. I'm casual today because I'm getting on an airplane.
Sure, rub it in, Noble.
Right. Well, obviously, Noble's in the studio because we are going to do another free legal advice Friday with McIntyre Law's Noble McIntyre. Got a couple of questions for you this morning.
Okay.
The first one said, I really enjoyed the segment, but I'm curious. Would you personally be handling my case, or would it be passed to a paralegal or a junior associate?
Very good question. We don't pass anything to paralegals. They just assist attorneys on the case. It would only go to an attorney. There are times, depending on the case, where I will handle it, and there are times where I will have another lawyer handle it. Let me give you an example. At this stage of my career, I've been doing this over 30 years. I handle the high-end catastrophic, mostly fatality cases or catastrophic injury cases. We still take every kind of case, like a lower-value car accident case, because that's how younger lawyers learn, but they do it under the supervision of me or one of my other lawyers that's been there for a long time. So it may be a case I handle directly if it's of kind of a serious case with complex legal issues. If it's a kind of a normal standard case, it may be something we have one of my younger lawyers do, but they report to me or to Jeremy Thurman in my office or to Jordan Klinger. And so it just depends on the case.
So if I'm hearing this right, though, it does sound like they actually have a really good safety net. Like if there was something all of a sudden that bam,
right,
you guys would be there to help.
Yeah, it's only going to be an attorney in my office, and we have weekly meetings and go over cases, and the younger lawyers know to come to us. It is not uncommon for one of the younger lawyers to come to me and say, we have a deposition coming up. Will you take this deposition for me? And so I will take the deposition in a case that's a case I might not otherwise be assigned to, simply because that particular situation required it. So we're always aware of everything that's going on.
Wow.
But you guys have obviously vetted everybody that you have in there. You have good quality people.
It is tough to get a job at McIntyre Law if you want to be a lawyer.
Yeah.
And so everybody that works for me was the cream of the crop, and then they report to the cream of the crop. So yes, everybody that works is very, very good at what they do, or they wouldn't be working for me.
You're secure with McIntyre Law.
Okay, there you go. This next one's pretty fun too. It says, and you can tell they've been listening for a while, you talk about no fees unless you win.
Right.
But what about court costs, medical records, and so on? If we lose, will I be responsible for out-of-pocket expenses?
Yeah, it's another good question. So when somebody comes to hire me, I tell them all the time, look, this is one of those things where it's not going to cost you anything. I'm going to expend a large amount of money. I'm going to investigate the case, and it doesn't matter if I spend 3 years working on this case. If we don't win, ultimately you're not going to owe me anything, and that includes all of those costs. Some cases get very, very expensive, and so that's why the contingency fee is what it is. People will say, God, I mean, 40% on some cases, or a third, is so high as it is, but the risk involved is we may spend hundreds of hours of time and hundreds of thousands of dollars. The most money I've had tied up in one single case in expenses was $900,000.
Whoa!
I had $900,000 tied up in a Paxil birth defect case, and we were just about to go to trial. Had 40 other cases behind it when we got that settled. Had I lost, which I didn't, but had I lost, I would have been out 6 or 7 years of time and that much money in expenses. So the answer to that question is, not only do we not get paid if we don't win, we also don't get reimbursed our expenses.
Wow.
I front everything. I pay for everything.
Well, and I would also think too that you probably, since you've been doing this for 30 plus years, like you said, have a really good feel about, okay, when you take this case, you have a good feel about it, I guess.
Yeah, because I'm putting resources and I'm putting time. And look, that shows you the belief that I have in a case. And so when people talk about, frivolous lawsuits, I'm not going to take a frivolous lawsuit. I want a lawsuit that has a real potential to win so I can do justice for my client. Because if I lose, I don't get paid either. Frivolous lawsuits don't get paid. Juries see right through those. If you're sitting on a jury and somebody comes in with a fake case, are you going to award money? Of course not. That's rhetoric that's passed around because for people that want to pass tort reform that keep Oklahomans that have been injured as a result of somebody else's negligence from getting compensated. I want to take real cases with real injuries and help those families get a real recovery, but we do front every single expense involved.
Just another reason you should call McIntyre Law.
Absolutely, and it's really easy to do it. They got the Jesus line.
They do.
777-7000.
Wow, what a segue. You guys all picked up on it just like that.
Oh, that's great.
By the way, if you ever have a question and you can't reach them at the number, just hit us up at AskNoble@tylermedia.com. We might read your question here on the radio. Noble, thanks for coming out.
Thanks for having me.